Al Franken's good sense is challenged only by his humor. Particularly in our explosive era, politics would seem to be no laughing matter. But that does not mean we do ourselves any favors by passively giving in to global gloom. Make way for a sleepless, if self-promoting, knight, Al Franken, giant of the Senate, 406 pages, $28. Written by, of course, Al Franken, who walks tall at 5 feet 6, is being a United States Senator as much fun as working on Saturday Night Live? No. And isn't today's Congress just an unrelenting horror show? Yes. In short, the Washington of the past decade has been awash in nincompoopery. Wait for it. And that was before Trump. Franken, current Democratic congressman, 8 years and counting as senator from Minnesota, is also a funny fellow and former regular of the aforesaid SNL. This is his 7th book. And while the ex-comic can't hold back his sense of humor after all, it's a life force. He has the gift of using it to promote his vision of service to constituents. It's like carrying a baby on a tightrope, but he defies the ground. Franken can make you laugh, and he can make you cry. He is astutely critical of his political adversaries and, crucially, of himself. But the senator got it right at Wilmar, in Minnesota's Kandiyohi County, for the high school graduation there, praising class speaker and former Senate page Muna Abdullahi. Here in America, of course, we're all immigrants. Except, of course, for Native Americans against whom we committed genocide. I'm a Jew, but I'm also an American. Muna is Somali, but she's also an American. On election day, I ran into her on campus at the University of Minnesota, where I was getting out the vote for Hillary. She told me that her sister, Anissa, had been voted homecoming queen. That's who we are. In places like France, they isolate their refugees and immigrants. In America, we elect them homecoming queen. That day we did. And Franken wasn't clowning around. He remains a committed man. When I got to the Senate, I got a seat on the Indian Affairs Committee because, in the Senate, anyone who wants to be on Indian Affairs gets to be on Indian Affairs. One of the things I fought for was allowing Indian tribal courts to prosecute non-Indians who commit acts of domestic violence. I was also able to get funding to replace a dilapidated, structurally unsafe high school on the Leech Lake Reservation in Minnesota. We passed a new Indian Healthcare Improvement Act. And Red Lake now has an eye doctor. It's worth noting that the timeless works of William Shakespeare show us, again and again, that when the forces of political power are at their absolute worst, it is always to the so-called clowns that we turn for the truth.